I deem it a great honor and privilege conferred upon me to deliver the welcome address for this special lecture on Deccan University, Australia, research and teaching opportunities. We would like to extend our sincere gratitude to our Chief Guest of Honor, Professor Dr. Ryan Cookie, Professor of School of Life Sciences and Environmental Sciences, Deccan University, Melbourne, Australia. It is a great honor to be graced by the presence of such an eminent professor and excellent researcher on environmental science. Thank you, Madam, for accepting our invitation. On behalf of Nehru Memorial College, we welcome you, Madam. We would like to express our gratitude to our guest, Dr. John White, Associate Professor, School of Life and Environmental Sciences, Deccan University, Melbourne, Australia, for joining us. We feel privileged to have such an eminent researcher on environmental science. He accepts our invitations to share his knowledge on rodent use. On behalf of Nehru Memorial College, we welcome you, sir. It is great pleasure to welcome our college president has graciously accepted our invitations to preside over the functions. Welcome you, sir. For the 6 months, is thinking on the visit of our chief guest and guest. It is none other than the head of the Department of Zoology, Dr. P. Nehru. We profusely thank IKC coordinator, Dean's coordinator for their constant and continuous support for this program. I welcome all coordinators, particularly IPSC coordinator, self-financing, head of the department of various program, various discipline. Welcome you all. He is our student. In fact, even today when we went to Hyderabad, he treated us as a teacher, but he is equal with us. He is never coming from very big cities. He is near to Kottatur. Now he is working as a scientist in a big reputed plant institute in Hyderabad. He is nothing but Dr. Saktivel. I place it sincere thanks to all our students because it is the exam is around the corner. You are on the preparations. Amidst these preparations, you are coming here to know, to explore the possibilities for your future. You are different discipline, zoology, PG zoology students, PG chemistry students, MBA students, MCA students. It is an occasion to explore the possibility of doing research or teaching in abroad. This is an occasion. So on behalf of our college, on behalf of Department of Zoology, I welcome you all. I do hope this morning deliberation and discussions will make our college to step ahead for our students. Thank you, one and all. Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
It's a great day. I take this opportunity to welcome Dr. Raylene Cook and Dr. John White for having come here to explore the possibility of collaborating with our own Professor Dr. Neela Narayanan on the rodenticide, that being a silent killer. So they will explain you why they are taking up this activity. They need volunteers like you to do further research in this line and help them to achieve the required research results. So at the outset, I congratulate Dr. Neela Narayanan for taking this opportunity. He has done plenty of research on rodenticides and on the predators which kill the rats. So he has been chosen by them. He has been requested by Dr. Eileen and Dr. John to do the research. That's why they have come here to see him and to meet him and to explore the possibility of working together with him. So it's a very human case. We use common rat killers, which the rat eats that rat killer and dies. Once it dies, then all the birds eat on them and the poison gets transferred to the birds. And sometimes we catch that bird and eat ourselves. The human eat the birds, so the poison, a portion of the poison gets transferred to the human also. So the effect, the food chain continues, not only to human, to all other animals also. So they are exploring the possibility of how this effect is taking place and what is the level of effect, how many people are affected, and what are the possibilities of avoiding this. So this is the base of the research. Dr. Neela Narayanan, because he has done plenty of research in this line, he has already visited Asian Institute of Technology. He has worked there for more than a year on this line, and so they have requested him to join this project. It's really heartening to see that our own professor is being in the limelight and having been requested to join the research work internationally. I congratulate Dr. Neela Narayanan for taking this class. Not only Dr. Neela Narayanan, other faculty members in the Zoology Research Department they are also doing that bit of research activity. One of our best research department is Zoology Department. There is no doubt about it. Many congratulations to the head of the department as well as the research staff members of the Zoology Department, Dr. Ramesh, Dr. Bhubediraja, another Dr. Ramesh and Dr. Revati, Revati is not here, Renuka and Priya. So they are all good research workers, good research faculty members, and they are guiding our students in the right path. Dr. Sasikumar, I welcome him for this gathering. So to Dr. Eileen and Dr. John White, I assure you that our team will deliver you whatever results you are looking at. I am confident they will be able to help you to identify the problems in this part of the world and help you in your research further. And we at the same time, we also request you to engage some of our students, give them some opportunities in universities, in your universities abroad, so that they can take up doing their PhD or serving in your laboratories as interns or research fellow. All those opportunities, I request you to see the possibilities of giving us some benefits to the students. With that request, I again congratulate our principal, Dr. Neela Narayanan, Dr. Venkatesan, and the students, especially because though it is examination time, you are assembled here. It's a good opportunity. You should ask Dr. Raylene and Dr. John White, who traveled across India. And India ஒவ்வொரு சிட்டி நம்ம பார்க்காத சிட்டிலாம் அவங்க பார்த்துட்டு வந்திருக்கிறாங்க. ஸோ நிறைய விஷயங்கள் அவங்க தெரிஞ்சுட்டு வந்திருக்கிறாங்க. இந்தியாவை பற்றி மாத்திரம் இல்லை, ஆஸ்திரேலியாவை பற்றியும் நீங்கள் நிறைய கேட்கணும். ஏன்னா மும்பையினுடைய பாப்புலேஷன் தான் ஆஸ்திரேலியாவோட பாப்புலேஷன். ஒரு 5 கிலோமீட்டருக்கு ஒருத்தரை பார்த்தீங்கன்னா ஒரு காரில் போனீங்கன்னா ஒரு 5 கிலோமீட்டர் இல்லை 50 கிலோமீட்டருக்கு தாண்டின பிறகு தான் நீங்கள் ஒருத்தரையே ஒரு ஆளையே பார்க்க முடியும். அந்த மாதிரி ஒரு ஊர். 800 கிலோமீட்டர் டிராவல் பண்ணால் ஒரு ஊர்ல இருந்து இன்னொரு ஊர் 800 கிலோமீட்டர் இல்லை 1200 கிலோமீட்டர் ஒரு 10 மணி நேரம் டிராவல் பண்ணீங்க, நடுவில் யாரையுமே பார்க்க மாட்டீங்க, வெறும் ரோடு தான் இருக்கும், கங்காரு வேணா இருக்கலாம். ஆனால் நல்ல ஊர், நல்ல டெவலப் ஆகிருக்கு, சிட்டிஸ் மாத்திரம் நல்லா இருக்கு. ஸோ அந்த மாதிரி ஒரு கான்டினென்ட்ல இருந்து, கண்ட்ரின்னு சொல்றதை விட ஆஸ்திரேலியா இஸ் அ கான்டினென்ட். ஸோ lot of opportunity is there for youngsters like you, and it's up to you. If you want to take the cue and find out from them, you can ask them whatever doubts that you have, whatever whatever idea you have about Australia, you can just enforce it by asking them your doubts. They will be too pleased to explain you. I also take this opportunity to welcome Dr. P. Saktivil, our own alumnus, who's now the present scientific officer of National Institute of Plant and Health Management in Hyderabad. It's a central government funded institution, and he's very well placed there. I welcome you for You should also ask him how he got the selection and what are all the examination he wrote, how he got appointed in National Institute of Health, Plant Health Management. What do they do in National Institute of Plant Health Management? And what are all the other institutions like this which are centrally funded? When you say National Institute, that means it's a centrally funded institution, right? So here in Trichy we have National Institute of Banana. So for banana research, Trichy has been identified the best place across the country, because we have more varieties of banana all across the country. So 363 varieties of banana have been identified in Tamilnadu, and so Kaveri belt was growing traditionally a lot of banana trees. You have been seeing the banana plantations wherever you go. So they have chosen Trichy for setting up the National Institute of Banana. National Institute of Pulses, it is in Wambat in Puthanampatti district. So you should find out how many research institutes are there and what are all the opportunities for a zoology or botanist to get appointed. Say you can, as a zoologist, you will get appointed as a pathologist or in that area. So you should find out and explore. Our own alumnus is here. You should take this opportunity to ask him more and more. Right? With this, I congratulate our Dr. Nehru once again for all the arrangements and special efforts, and Dr. Sasikumar for assisting him ably, making him even the lunch arrangements and other things. Very nice of you. I hope you will have a good day with the presentation of our special guests. Thank you for the opportunity. God bless all. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for having us and making us feel so welcome. We are very, very grateful to be here, and we have been made very welcome and very much appreciate all the organisation and the welcoming of us here today. And so John and I are here today to talk to you about some opportunities, to talk about Deakin University in Australia, and then to sort of talk about some of the research that we are doing in Australia that we are hoping to expand throughout the Asia Pacific. But just before I start, again, thank you. We really appreciate your hospitality, and we are very, very grateful to be here. So thank you for that. Thank you. All right, thank you, everybody. Can you hear me okay down the back? Okay, so just as a little bit of background, my name is Raylene Cook, and part of my research team, there's 4 people that are setting up our rodenticide research across the Asia Pacific. So we've got myself. My main area of interest is raptors. Okay, so I'm very much into barn owls, I'm very much into eagles and other birds of prey. Down the front we also have John White, who's part of the team, and John is into rodents. And so quite often the birds of prey eat the rodents. And so John looks at the rodents. We also have with us Mike Weston and Cowrie, who have had to go home already because we've been away for a long time travelling around India. But they are also part of the research team looking at birds and also mammals. So first off, what I want to do is just talk a little bit about Deakin University in Australia. So Deakin University is in the top 1% of all universities worldwide. Okay, so
use the white color. Use the white color.
yeah, it's at the top. Okay, so it is in the 1% of all universities worldwide. And it's ranked in the top 50 of what we call young universities. So Deakin is almost 50 years old, but not quite. So a very, very similar age to the college here, but is almost turning 50. It also has very, very high levels of student satisfaction. And do lots of distance education. Okay, so leading up to COVID, a lot of universities didn't do online learning, but Deakin does a combination of online learning and also face-to-face learning. And so there's opportunities to either work remotely or to work on campus. And it's also got a very, very high ranking for its research and also its technical support.
ஆஸ்திரேலியாவில் இருக்கக்கூடிய
Madam shows the back previous slide.
previous slide. Go to previous slide, madam. மேடம் வந்து ஒர்க் பண்றது 4 பேரோட சேர்ந்து டீமா ஒர்க் பண்றாங்க. Please go to first slide. First one. Very first. அந்த 4 பேர்ல 2 பேர் இங்க வந்திருக்காங்க. மேடம் வந்து ரெய்லினி குக், டாக்டர் ஜான் வைட் 2 பேர் வந்திருக்காங்க. another 2 staff members வந்து அவங்க ரிசர்ச் டீம்ல இருக்காங்க. மேடமோட ஸ்பெஷலைசேஷன் வந்து அவுல் சாந்த என்ன தெரியுமா? ஆந்த, அப்புறம் ராப்டார்ஸ்னா அது வந்து பேர்ட்ஸ் ஆஃப் ப்ரேன்னு சொல்லுவாங்க. இந்த பறவைகள்ல வந்து அவங்களுடைய ஸ்பெஷலைசேஷன். அவர் டாக்டர் ஜானோட வந்து ஸ்பெஷலைசேஷன் வந்து ரோடன்ஸ். ரோடன்ஸ்னா எலிகள் தெரியும் இல்லையா? அதுதான் வந்து அவங்களுடைய ஸ்பெஷலைசேஷன். அவங்களோட சேர்ந்து இன்னும் 2 பேர் அவங்க ரிசர்ச் டீம்ல இருக்காங்க. நெக்ஸ்ட் ஸ்லைடு. இவங்க எந்த யூனிவர்சிட்டில இருந்து வந்திருக்காங்கன்னா டெய்கின் யூனிவர்சிட்டி, which is a government university in Australia. One of the most popular university in Australia. வேர்ல்டு வைடுல ரேங்கிங்ல இவங்களோட யூனிவர்சிட்டி வந்து ஃபர்ஸ்ட் 1% ஆஃப் த ரேங்க்ல இருக்கு. டாப் 1% ஆஃப் த ரேங்க்ல அவங்க யூனிவர்சிட்டி வந்து ரேங்க் பண்ணியிருக்காங்க. டாப் 50 யங் யூனிவர்சிட்டிஸ்ல வந்து QS ரேங்கிங்னு சொல்லுவாங்க. அதுல 50 யங் யூனிவர்சிட்டிஸ்ல இவங்க யூனிவர்சிட்டி ஒன் ஆஃப் தி யூனிவர்சிட்டிஸ். அப்புறம் ஸ்டூடெண்ட் சாட்டிஸ்ஃபேக்ஷன் சர்வேல வந்து இவங்களுடைய இது ரொம்ப அற்புதமா இருக்கு அப்படிங்கிறது அவங்க சொல்றாங்க. தென் 40 years ஆஃப் டிஸ்டன்ஸ் லேர்னிங், அதாவது நீங்களாம் கரஸ்பாண்டன்ஸ்ல படிக்கிறீங்க இல்லையா, அதுலயும் வந்து அவங்களுடைய சிறப்பா வந்து செயல்பட்டு இருக்காங்க அப்படிங்கிறத சொல்றாங்க. அவங்க டாப் ரேட்டட் டெக்னிக்கல் சப்போர்ட் வந்து அவங்க யூனிவர்சிட்டியில வந்து மாணவர்களுக்கு அவங்க வந்து வழங்கி கொண்டிருக்கிறார்கள் அப்படிங்கிறத இந்த ஸ்லைட்ல அவங்க சொல்லியிருக்காங்க. மற்றதெல்லாம் அவங்க இது எதுக்காக இது மட்டும் சொல்றேன் அப்படின்னாக்க, நீங்க வந்து ஃபர்ஸ்ட் அண்டர்ஸ்டாண்ட் பண்ணிக்கணும் என்ன மாதிரியான ஒரு பல்கலைக்கழகத்துல இருந்து அவங்க ஒர்க் பண்றாங்க, அவங்க அங்கிருந்து வந்திருக்கிறாங்க, அவங்க வந்து என்ன மாதிரியான ரிசர்ச் ஒர்க் நம்ம காலேஜில் நடந்துட்டு இருக்கிற அந்த ரிசர்ச் ஒர்க்கோட சேர்ந்து நம்மளோட கொலாபரேட் பண்ணி ரிசர்ச் இந்தியாவில் பண்ணணும், நம்ம ரீஜனில் பண்ணணும் அப்படின்னு வந்திருக்காங்கிறத தெரிஞ்சுக்கணுங்கிறதுக்காக இந்த டிரான்ஸ்லேஷன் உங்களுக்கு. தேங்க்யூ மேம்.
Thank you. In terms of student numbers, so there is almost 60,000 students at Deakin University. And so from this, 58,800 students, most are domestic students, but we also have international students. So there is opportunities for international students to come and study at Deakin, and they can study either as undergraduates or as postgraduates. And so as postgraduates, you could do a master's or you could do a PhD. And both of those are options for both domestic students and international students. So we have 5 different campuses at Deakin University. So up the top is Australia. So right down the bottom of the world is Australia. And then we're in Victoria, which is this little state down the bottom. And then our campuses are located in Victoria. So we have one city campus, which is in Melbourne. Most people know the MCG and the cricket. So the Melbourne. And then we also have we have coastal campuses as well. So 5 different campuses there. So our main research. Okay, so we have what we call impact areas. So the main areas that we research are people's health. So health and wellbeing is one. We have smarter technologies. We have enabling a sustainable world, which is where John and I, that's the area we work in. We have advancing society and culture, so that's the arts side of things. And then we have building safe and secure communities. Okay, so they're our main research themes. And here is just that, well, when you break that down a little bit further, we have health and molecular sciences, smart technologies and manufacturing, cyber security, so IT, architecture, so design, culture and infrastructure, environment and sustainability, marine, fisheries and aquaculture, food, water and regional development, and energy. So they're our main research themes. So Deakin, as we said, Deakin University, it's big, it's got lots and lots of students, and we have different faculties. So faculties are a little bit like your colleges. Okay, so in our faculties, we have a faculty of arts and education, we have a faculty of business and law, a faculty of health, and a faculty of science. Okay, so science, engineering, and built environment. So this one here is where that's our faculty, in the Faculty of Sciences where we fit. And then inside our faculty, we have lots of schools. Okay, so different research areas. And so we have life and environmental sciences, which is where we are. We have IT, we have engineering, and we have architecture and construction management. So School of Life and Environmental Sciences is the one that we want to talk about. We have different undergraduate courses. Okay, and these undergraduate courses depend on your research interest. Okay, so these can look at sustainability, they can look at wildlife conservation, they can look at marine environments. And then what we have is a master's. Okay, and then the master's, which is down here, the master's, you can pick the area that interests you. Okay, so in the master's, we have health and environment, we have environmental management, and we have sustainable regional development. And lots of courses. And so then there's also the other sciences, which are our biomedical, our forensic, and our zoology. Okay, and again, we also have a postgraduate in that area as well. So lots and lots of different opportunities to do study there. So when we talk about PhD, so once you've done your bachelor, okay, so you finish your undergraduate or your bachelor, we have PhDs in a number of different areas. So the main area that we're interested in today is wildlife conservation and biology. Okay, it is also very closely linked to environmental management and sustainability. But this is where this section that we fit into. So in that, there's lots and lots of different areas that you can look at wildlife management. Okay, so in terms of wildlife management, we can look at things like population ecology. We can look at things like landscape ecology. We can look at ecosystem management. In Australia, fire is a really, really big ecosystem issue. But urbanisation. So as the planet gets more populated and the urbanisation expands into rural areas, that has problems for our wildlife too. We also look at technology, so things like drones, GPS tracking, remote cameras and things. And then there's of course the human-wildlife conflict. Okay, lots of examples throughout India of human-wildlife conflict. We also have those examples in Australia as well. And they're a very serious issue, both for the humans and for the wildlife. Okay, so lots of opportunities to do research in that area. Then of course there's the statistics, the modelling, the GIS, the remote sensing side of things. So lots and lots of different opportunities to do research on areas of interest that are very important moving forward. So what we want to do today is just give you an example of some of the research that we've been doing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hand over to John. He'll come up and talk to you for a little bit, and then I'll come back and talk to you a little bit more, and we'll just do it that way. So I'll hand it over to you, John.
Thank you. Look, I'll try to speak slowly. I'm generally terrible and I speak really fast. But thank you for that. It was as embarrassing as I thought it would be. And thank you to everybody who's welcomed us so warmly and allowed us to come and meet here and speak to you. What we want to talk to you about today is, I guess, some research that we're doing and hoping to do in India, but also take you on a journey. We're ecologists. We look at how animals, plants and systems work. Today, we're going to talk to you about toxicology. We're not toxicologists, but increasingly around the world, what we're seeing is people having to start looking at the impacts of poisons in our environments. And so we're ecologists learning about toxicology, and we're going to tell you about why we're here a little bit. So we're going to talk about what we call silent killers, things that kill animals or systems that we don't know are there until it's almost too late. Okay, so that's what this talk will be about. Is the pace, am I going too fast? Okay. One thing that India and this region of the world benefited from a lot was the chemical revolution. The development of synthetic chemicals, things that allowed us to farm, produce more crops. So you could get the English and I couldn't. Fight diseases, fight insects, all of these things that limited capacity for societies to grow. Once we developed these chemicals, population growth could increase, and here we are today in India. What are we talking? 1.2 billion, 1.4 billion. It goes up by 200 million every day. No, very large population that is supported largely by the change in chemistry and chemicals that we use in the environment. So it's been very beneficial.
Yes, we call it the Green Revolution.
The Green Revolution, absolutely. And what we have seen running along with this Green Revolution is an understanding that some of these chemicals have not been as good as we thought they were. They've caused us problems. Often we don't see it straight away. You may not remember this will be well before you because it was before I was born, but Rachel Carson, a marine biologist in the United States, wrote a book called The Silent Spring. And she was talking about the fact that you didn't hear nature anymore. When you went into agricultural areas, you didn't hear insects chirping, you didn't hear birds. They'd all gone. And she said, why have they gone? And she talked about DDT, which was an insecticide, an amazingly effective chemical, really life-changing for much of the world. Really good chemical, but had some problems in the sense that it went through the food chain and it's very long-lived. And so it's been banned in most of the world. India has banned it, but I think it still uses it. So is our best understanding. DDT is a very strong insecticide, and the benefit was it doesn't break down with water. So you could spray it on surfaces inside a house and it would continue to kill. What's really interesting is thinking about how effective chemicals were today. So these are just some World Health Organization data. To give you an idea, I like this data here. Venezuela, before DDT, in 1 year, had 817,000 people die of malaria. A few years later, when we've had DDT, the deaths dropped to 800. So we saw a 99% reduction across much of South America in malaria because of DDT. The problem we have is that DDT bioaccumulates in animals, and it gets into fat and it stays there and it increases up the food chain. And so what we saw was fish-eating birds in particular, so fish-eating predators, were getting very large amounts of DDT in their bodies, okay, because it magnified up through the food web. Something that we'd never seen before with any chemicals. Usually the chemicals break down and they go out, but here we saw bioaccumulation and biomagnification. This is still the diagram used in textbooks to explain this. But what it did do is it thinned the egg shells on birds, and so then when they sat on their eggs, the eggs cracked. And so we saw declines across the world of fish-eating birds, owls, eagles, peregrine falcons, which are still around now, almost disappeared from the planet. Very bad. Then we come to India, or the South Asian region, and we talk about the decline of vultures. How many of you have seen a vulture in the wild? Somebody put their hand up. Somebody. Yes, we have somebody. A couple of people. In the early 1980s, there were 40 million Gibbs vultures in South Asia, mostly in India and Nepal and Bangladesh. You would see them all of the time. We're in an agricultural region, vultures would be everywhere here. Suddenly, we have a population of 19,000. So a population decline of over 99% since the 1980s. Massive. This is the fastest decline of a species ever recorded on the planet. Why did they decline? In the 1990s, people started to say, you know what? We don't see many vultures anymore. What's happened? Vultures are gone. cows are lying dead on the ground and not being eaten. This is unusual. And after a lot of research, by 2000, they were able to identify an anti-inflammatory drug used in humans and in cattle called diclofenac. That was being treated into the cows to help with inflammation, and then when the cows died, they were left out for the vultures. The problem is the vultures ate the meat which had that drug in it, and it led to kidney failure. So their kidneys stopped working and the vultures died. And so since then, this has been banned as a chemical in India for use in agriculture, along with potentially another 6 anti-inflammatory drugs. So again, a very useful chemical that was really important for human health, I guess cow health, but then has led to some significant problems. One of the things, we're ecologists, so the thing that we worry about with these chemicals is the disruption to ecosystems and function. So this is a basic vulture, really important species, disappears. Vultures clean up all of the dead carcasses of cows, and India has a lot of cows, and so every year we have a lot of cows that die, and traditionally left out for the vultures. Vultures stop coming. That means the cow doesn't disappear, it sits there and it rots, and it becomes putrid, and goes into the ground. Rain washes that into the water sources. So what we saw was a human health issue, the emergence of a whole lot of, infections associated with poisoned water, which was the result of cows. At the other time, dogs increased in number to respond to all of this new food. Dogs, large numbers, very close, they spread disease very rapidly. What we saw again in India was the emergence of rabies. Something that had almost disappeared from India has now become a disease of serious concern under the World Health Organization and so on. So these changes can lead to bad outcomes. Another, thing that's potentially in the realms of silent killer are some of our rodenticides, some particular types of rodenticides. So rodents, or rats and mice, have caused massive problems to humans throughout history. And India has plenty of rodents that cause problems to humans. So they are something, the damage at least is something that needs to be managed. We've had this constant battle to control them, and we've now for the last 50 years been using what we call anticoagulant rodenticides. Things that block the vitamin K cycle inside the body, which means the body cannot coagulate blood, and so even very small injuries like a bang might then lead to the animal bleeding out. They can't clot their blood, so very effective. The initial development was what we call first generation anticoagulants, so warfarin. Lots of people still have, so elderly people often still have warfarin as a chemical in them to thin their blood to help with health issues around heart. But we then, the problem with those is they need lots of doses. The animal needs to at least eat the poison twice over about a week or so, because the poison's pretty much excreted out of the body very quickly. And so that was a problem. So then we developed what we call SGARs, or second generation anticoagulants. This is where the problem occurs. These are so powerful. The animal really only needs to eat it once and it will die. It won't die straight away. It may be 8, 10 days later, but it's a walking toxic bomb. But during that period, it will keep eating the poison. Hasn't died yet, but it will keep eating it. And the poison doesn't go through it, it actually sucks into the body. So it gets absorbed into the liver, it gets absorbed into the fat, and it stays inside the animal. So the animal is concentrating that poison. So then something eats it, like an owl, or an eagle, or a dog. That poison then goes straight into that, and it accumulates. So there's been lots of concern about non-target poisoning. And really, it's very easy to buy these types of poisons. In India and Australia and most of Asia, we can all buy these chemicals quite easy. In India, it's mostly bromadiolone, right, and some brodifacoum, which are what the chemicals are. We get the same. And then I'm going to hand you back to Ray, aren't we? So Raylene's going to talk about then rodenticides, jumping into one of our favourite species.
This bird up here is what we call a powerful owl. The powerful owl is Australia's largest owl. It's about this sort of size. And it's a species that I've been working on for over 20 years now. Okay, and so I've been working on this species for over 20 years now, mainly looking at its ecology. So things like its diet, its breeding. We put GPS trackers on them for home range and do lots and lots of research on these birds. These birds are non-migratory. Okay, so they hold down a territory, they hold down a very large home range, and they only have 2 chicks each year. Okay, so very, very slow to reproduce. Their diet is mainly arboreal marsupials. Okay, so animals that live up trees. And in Australia, over 90% of their diet is these 3 species up on the screen here. So our possums and our sugar glider. And our possum, the red-tailed possum, the first one there, only eats plants. Okay, so it lives in trees and just eats plant material and flowers. Our brush-tailed possum, it's much bigger. It weighs about 4 kilograms in weight, and it eats anything. Okay, so it will get into your trash cans, it will get into your roof, it will eat food scraps, anything at all. So a lot of people see this possum as a pest. Okay, it's protected, a native species, but some people see it as a pest species, and they don't want to have it around. So what happened is we found that lots of our powerful owls were dying. And we thought, this is very strange, because you'd expect 1 or 2 birds to die each year, but by the time we got up to 8, 9, 10 birds dying, we're like, what's going on? So we got the birds tested, and what we found is that rodenticides were in 88% of the birds that had died. And the strange thing here is powerful owls do not eat rodents. Okay, so powerful owls don't eat rats and mice, but rodenticide was found in their system. So we thought that's very strange. How are powerful owls getting poisoned if they don't eat rats and mice? And what about our raptors that do eat rats and mice? Okay, so if powerful owls are poisoned, what happens to these other ones? So we looked at 3 other species. So we've got the boobook, the barn owl, I'm sure you're familiar with the barn owl, and the tawny frogmouth. And these 3 birds all eat rats and mice. So you'd expect if powerful owls are being poisoned, so are probably these birds. So if we look here at the results, the main colours we're interested in are the red and the orange. Okay, so the red and the orange. The red and the orange is toxic, likely lethal. Okay, and you can see by looking at those that powerful owls, 33% of our powerful owls were in that likely lethal category. Our poor old barn owl, 80% of barn owls are most likely dying through rodenticide poisoning. So this is just the natural way that these birds eat. Our solid blue line there, we can see powerful owls, we know they eat possums. Okay, they don't eat rats and mice. Whereas our other species eat the rats and mice. So if we're trying to figure out then how do powerful owls get poisoned, let's have a look at the possums. So when we look at the possums there, the possum on the right hand side is the ringtail, has the big green bar, okay, with not detected, which makes sense because these possums only eat plants. But the scary thing is that there is orange and red also on that possum. Okay, so these possums are still being poisoned even though they're not eating rats and mice. Our brush-tailed possum, the one that people see as a pest, we can see that there's lots of evidence of orange and red. So these possums are potentially being intentionally poisoned or indirectly taking the rodenticides. So we sort of think then that maybe rodenticide poisoning is our next silent spring. So I'm going to hand over to John to talk about what our current research plan is.
So what we're in India doing at the moment, and we've been in Nepal, and lots of other parts of Asia, is finding researchers and organisations to become part of what we're calling the anticoagulant rodenticide monitoring system. So it's a research project aimed at looking at the use of rodenticides and then looking in wildlife and trying to understand how much rodenticide is going into wildlife. Potentially also then considering how it might go into humans. We're not really chasing livers off humans at this point, but this will be the first multinational survey of the Asia-Pacific region for rodenticides. There's very little work done in our region, that includes Australia, and will serve as a benchmark from which we can continue to work from in the future. This paper, this maps out of a paper that was published 3 months ago. Okay, it looks at studies on rodenticides in mammalian carnivores, so cats, dogs, and all of this. The grey colour means no studies published. You can see all of the studies are from Europe and North America. When we look at the Asia-Pacific region, no studies, except, funnily enough, New Zealand, which doesn't have any native mammalian predators. It's studies on introduced mammalian predators there, stoats and ferrets, and how to kill them. So really, to some extent, nothing has been done really in Asia on this issue at all. The way this project's going to work, and why we're here and in other places, is working with international partners. We need to get livers, because the only way you can test for rodenticides is out of liver. That means the animal needs to be dead. We're not talking about killing animals, but animals that have died, either hit by cars or are rescued and then died, is getting the livers out of those to look at them. And we're trying to aim to get an initial phase of 5,000 animals surveyed through Asia and tested. It's important to note two things. We're not killing animals for this project. The animals have died already, and what we're doing is giving those animals a voice after they die to tell us about poisoning. And we can't take samples out of the country. So the other thing we're doing is trying to work with laboratories across across India where the machines are there, but we don't currently test for this stuff, and actually creating capacity within each country to start testing more routinely. And just to give you an idea of how things can end up in these, I mean, you might know the mongoose. Mongoose is kind of common around here. We'll eat snakes, we'll eat rats, so quite a direct route. This is a pigtail macaque. So one of the monkeys, you wouldn't think was going to end up with rat poison in it. Except this is a rat in the hands of that macaque being eaten. Okay, and so what they found in Malaysia when they were using rat poison in oil palm plantations, rats end up dead. They start finding the macaques coming in and eating the dead rats like lollipops. And the macaques are now getting poisoned with rat poison as well. So it's these routes that the toxins move are really hard to determine. What we're targeting, and this is again really important in India because you fit so many of these groups, is the predators and the scavengers, so owls, birds of prey, eagles and the like, vultures, where we can get livers out of vultures, and then the native mammalian carnivores like the cats, dogs, leopards, you know, rusty spotted cats and the like, and then things like rodent-eating snakes and monitor lizards. Okay, so you have monitor lizards here. The other group then is the bushmeat, the stuff that's probably going to go directly into humans. So we're looking to get samples from wild boar across Asia because wild boar is regularly eaten by villages and remote communities. In some places rodents are eaten, so there's areas of India where rodents are eaten. There's definitely Vietnam and the likes there, rodents are eaten a lot. And then what we want to do is find some species that we can look at across the whole of the Asia Pacific. So dogs, you know, the village dog that we see, we're fairly sure they'll eat rodents, and they're all across Asia. The other key species will be barn owl because it's distributed entirely over the Asia Pacific region, and potentially black kites as well. And down the track, I guess, why be involved, or why might you get interested in it? This is trailblazing work. This is new. It hasn't been done, so it's kind of cool. It means there'll be lots of international collaborations. We're already meeting people that we're going, actually, you should talk to this person in Vietnam. They're very closely related in what you're doing, and it's been good for that. It's a massive collaboration as it starts getting going. There's going to be lots of funding. We see lots of publications and co-authorships and things coming out of it. So it's got good value, but I know the reason we do science, and probably the reason most of your academics do, and hopefully the reason you do it, is to make a difference. Yeah? And so our students are all conservation biologists. They're all keen to save the world. And this is one of these sorts of things where our research could actually improve ecological health and human health as well. So I think that's probably it from us, right? We'll stop on that slide. Cool. All right, thank you so much. And we appreciate that we're a little hard to understand, so hopefully you've kind of got most of it.
Thank you, Dr. Ray and Dr. John. So you presented the way of rodenticide and the attempting of the various insecticide for the mortality of various excellent, excellent. So the vulture population decimated 20 years ago. Maybe 90% of the vulture decimated Bengalensis, Gyps bengalensis, due to the diclofenac. that painkiller. So I was worked in Bombay Natural History Society. I worked in that project also. So in front of my eye, lot of vultures died. So the Vibhu Prakash, Dr. Vibhu initiated a captive breeding center in Pinjur and started the vulture improvement. And in your area, do you have any vulture population? And what are the alternate steps followed for the mechanical methods instead of the chemicals? That's the best way. Because the bioaccumulation, it is a very dangerous process. Because they enter our muscles, then go to another species, bioaccumulation, transpiration. So please suggest what are the alternate techniques may be followed, and what are the employment or research opportunities may be given from your institution, Indo-Australian research programs implemented or not, and which time we have to apply the proposal. So please suggest this. Thank you, sir.
Thank you for that. And yes, we actually had morning tea with the couple that set the Vulture Centre up a couple of days ago in Mumbai. It was really good. I think, we both come out of a background of rodent management in agriculture, and one of the problems with poison is it always looks like it always looks like the easy option for a farmer, because you can just put it out and something happens. History tells us usually we should be trying to avoid using poisons as much as we can and just using them when we need to. And so that means changing the way we do farming, being much cleaner about our farming. So farm hygiene is probably one of the biggest things to reduce rat damage. Not poisons, but actually how you manage your farms and your crops and the like. And so there's been a heap of research to show we don't need to use the amount of poison we do. As far as research opportunities in Australia, with our organisation, we have scholarship rounds every year to get into PhD programs and the like. They've just closed. So they're in October and April every year. One of the things is it's a very competitive process, as I'm sure it is here, to get them. So we always suggest, if you do a project, you work with your supervisors, try to get publications and your name on a paper with somebody. And even if you can elevate that publication to an international level journal, then that makes life a little bit easier to be competitive, because there are some great, amazing students throughout the Asia Pacific that often don't get a chance because they don't have some of that background. But working with your supervisors and your research, mentors and things to actually look to write that up and get it published. We're happy to work with a few of you guys to help with some of that as well. Then it increases your chances of getting into a university in Australia. What we're talking about here is actually getting local students in India to actually start working on this problem in India, and then become the next people that actually drive change in this country. So we're actually more about empowering people to stay in India and actually do some really good research here, with collaborations with lots of international people as well.
Thank you for a nice presentation, Madam, sir. There are so many factors for the declining of vulture populations. One interesting fact is India has so many diversified peoples with diversified cultures. One of the people is Parsis in Maharashtra regions. The population strength is during the 70s and 90s 5 lakhs peoples. There are conservative peoples, Parsis. They want the human body in the body are fired. They just left the dead body into the void, without buried or without firing the bodies. This is the main source of the food for the vultures in those periods. But their population is slowly declined due to so many reasons. Especially they won't marry with other peoples. They marry only within the population. Due to the inbreeding, their population is declined slowly. Now their population is just 500 people are there. But once upon a time, 5 lakhs people are. The food, the main source of the food is dead bodies of the people. But due to the population decline, the vultures shifted to human bodies into the cattle bodies. In that cattle bodies, already you told, the anti-inflammatory drug that is a diclofenac is accumulated in the cattle's body. Then due to the shifted food preference of the vultures, the vulture population is declined in our, especially in the Maharashtra. Then fortunately, in the Tamilnadu, the farmers are mostly used in mechanical crops. They won't use in the first generation or the second generation rodenticides, especially bromidine, radicum. And once upon a time, farmers used the zinc phosphate only. When the farmers used the zinc phosphate, the rat immediately dead. Our barn owl and owls, they won't prefer the dead rats. They prefer only live. When use the farmers second generation rodenticide, bromidine or the anticoagulant rodenticide, the rate takes to dead 1 week or 5 days or 3 days. Then only they prefer the barn owls or owls, they eat them. When you use this type of rodenticides, they affect the barn owl populations. But Sir already estimate the barn owl populations. In our area, there are so many populations. Here also, the populations are good due to the farmers won't use the rodenticide, especially second generation rodenticide. Then nowadays, the peoples are used the rodenticides, but they use rat paste. But it is highly effective. When we consume the rat paste, it jam our intestine. But the rat, when you paste the plate, they won't escape. Nowadays, the peoples are used. But due to this, is there any secondary poisoning to the non-target system? Thank you.
Yeah, it's all right. But, on the Parsi in the sky burials or air burials, it was probably the first time we had heard about diclofenac was via Parsi. The vulture declines happened well before that the Parsi noticed the declines in vultures because the bodies weren't going. But humans could also been treated with diclofenac, so that was a direct route out of humans into vultures. And then, yeah, obviously the declines just continued to occur and it didn't work. As far as rodent management, one of the things with second generation poisons is often not farmers. And so the trend we're seeing in Australia is going to be the trend you see in India with the emergence of mega cities that you have, is that most of the use of second generation is in urban city areas. It's just all of the wildlife that come close to intersecting with the cities are a chance of being killed. So the owls we work on and that Raylene talked about, they're on the edge of a city and the poison ends up in the possums very rapidly and kills them. And so what we see is this point where we start creating these cities which have no biodiversity anymore because of rat poison killing everything potentially, and then spreading their influence. What we do see in some parts of the world now, and other parts of Asia in particular, is the emergence of large volume usage of second generation anticoagulants in agriculture. So in Malaysia and Indonesia, used massively in oil palm and very strongly in cash crops. So there's no doubt that India will progress in a similar way with cash crop processes and things. Less effective in rice, but still is used in rice a bit.
We did research on secondary poisoning of difethyllium, second generation anticoagulant under captivity on mono. It's a very, very dangerous. We need a different concentration of the difethyllium to treat the rats, and we provide the rats to the barnhold, and they after 2 to 3 weeks the barnhold died. But unfortunately, fortunately, in our areas, the farmers won't use it. But we have to study throughout the Tamilnadu, throughout the India, how much amount of rodenticides used by farmers. They use only zinc phosphate and once upon a time. But nowadays, it's reduced. That's why here the barn populations are excellent. Good.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, ma'am. First of all, thank you so much for this wonderful lecture on behalf of our Department of Zoology and Nehru College. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Sir, your target species are raptors and scavengers. Other than raptors, scavengers is also there. In village, the crow is one of main scavengers. Why are you not focusing on crows?
I think we would probably focus on crows as well. So we'd consider crow in the Indian context as a scavenger. So it's a very good species to target, and we do think we will probably end up testing some crows as well. Really good question.
Thank you, sir.
Sir, good afternoon, sir. Myself, Shankar Narayanan. First of all, clarity. The things I understood concept is, even though we give one medicine to a species, from the food chain it will convert into poison. That is the only point I got it from there, because we are from other majors.
Yeah, you are right.
Yes, I am from computer science, some are from MBA, we are from other majors. But even though I am a vegan myself, that will affect my health, sir. I am a vegetarian. Even though does that animal affect?
Animal interests are affected by themselves. Whether I am a vegetarian, will I get affected by this? Choices man as one of the experimental animal to explore whether the human beings are also affected. But in the title itself, human health risk is also there. In the title which we have given in the seminar invitation, health risk is also there because of this.
Pesticide usage and the pesticide use நாலுமே நமக்கு பாதிப்பு தான். வெஜிடேரியன் இருந்தாலும் கண்டிப்பா உண்டு. Pesticide யூஸ் பண்றதால
Okay, thank you. Now I request Dr. P. Saktivel to say a few words about his institution and the opportunities available in his institution for taking training in his institution.
சக்திவேல் யாரும் இல்லை, சக்திவேல் நம்மள மாதிரி ஒரு ஸ்டூடெண்ட் தான். இங்கே பிஎஸ்சி சுவாலஜி படித்தாரு, எம்எஸ்சி சுவாலஜி படித்தாரு. ஹைதராபாத்தில் நேஷனல் இன்ஸ்டிடியூட் ஃபார் பிளான்ட் ஹெல்த் மேனேஜ்மெண்ட் இதில் சயின்டிஃபிக் ஆஃபீஸராக இருக்காரு. நாங்கள் அவங்க இன்ஸ்டியூட்டுக்கு 2 தடவை போயிருக்கேன். யூஜிசி ஆஃபீஸ் போகிறப்பெல்லாம் எங்கள் கூடயே வருவார், நிறைய ஹெல்ப் பண்ணுவார் காலேஜுக்கு. சார் ஸ்டூடெண்ட் எது இருந்தால் சொல்லுங்கள், இங்கெல்லாம் வரவே மாட்டேங்கிறாங்க ஹைதராபாத்தில். அதை விட இவர் அங்கே சயின்ஸ் பண்ணுறதை விட நிறைய கிரிக்கெட் கிளப்லாம் இருக்காரு, நிறைய அப்டேட்லாம் நிறைய வரும். ஏன்னா நம்ம ஸ்டூடெண்ட் ஒருத்தர் அங்கே விளையாடுறாரு, கிளப்ல பெரிய கிளப்ல விளையாடுறாருங்கிறது சந்தோஷம். அதை விட சயின்டிஃபிக் ஆஃபீஸரா அவருடைய ரிசர்ச் லேபுக்கெல்லாம் கூட்டிகிட்டு போயிருக்காரு. ரொம்ப சந்தோஷமா இருக்கும் எனக்கு ஒவ்வொரு தரையும் அவர் கூட போய் அங்கே ஹைதராபாத்ல இன்ட்ராக்ட் பண்ணுறப்ப. ஒரு 5 minutes அவருடைய எக்ஸ்பீரியன்ஸை இங்கே ஷேர் பண்ணுவோம்.
சீக்கிரமா ஐபிஎல் எதிர்பார்ப்போம்.
First of all, my sincere thanks to both the researchers all the way came from Australia to India and particularly to our college. So very thank you very much for from NAAC also. So I informed. So this is the college where I completed my graduation, post-graduation, as well as the doctorate degree under the guidance of Dr. Nehru sir. So I was the first student. I'm not just boosting myself. So this is the opportunity that we will be having in this, particularly this NMC college, because this is a very unique college located in a very remote area. All the people will not have that opportunity, and you are all very lucky to be a student of this college. And frankly telling, so this is the college wherever I go. So I traveled across the country, many cities, and wherever I go, I have to introduce myself, and they ask my biodata, all these things. So they'll ask where is this college. So I told probably it is my, it's in a very remote area. So I hail from a small village that is very nearby, 2-3 kilometers. That is the Kottatur. So I came. I started my journey with this college. Without this college, I will not be a I'm not a great person, but I am. And also, I am wherever I go, I used to tell the college name. Because the college name is already it's a very good name is there for the college. But still, from my side, I am giving some publicity. I can say it's a publicity or promotion to the college. And even when we are talking in introduced, this is the college. The computer was introduced. This is the first college in Tamilnadu. So that pride we have. So that's the thing. So coming to this, I know all of you know that I am a student of Dr. Nehru sir, and sir is a very unique and very nice person. And many students are they studied, and they all are very well. So thank you very much, sir, for this occasion. I can thank you, sir, and thank you very much. And all my teachers are here, Saranand sir, and then our Ramesh sir and Kubari sir. Thank you very much, sir, for remembering me. And of course, congratulations, sir. Sir is always, is we can say it's a well-wisher. That's what I can say. And just nothing, sir. Just I'm doing my help, not help. It's a duty, my duty. Whenever we are coming to the work, that small help I can do. That's nothing, sir. So thank you very much for remembrance and all the things, sir, guidance also. So coming to this, the institute where I am working at national level institute, National Institute of Plant Health Management. So only few geologists working there, and that I am one of the person. Because mostly they are all from agriculture background. So agriculture scientists or entomologists or pathologists, the preference will be very less for the geologist. But still, you have a lot of scope. You have heard the lecture of Dr. John and Madam. So they have given a very wide scope. So a lot of scopes are there for geologists. Not only here, even research as well as for even if you are undergraduate. Suppose if you are not going for further studies, higher studies, you can do your own business. So there is one course is called Urban Integrated Pest Management, right? So now everybody, because of the urbanization, lot of pest is household pest. That's the one or two household pest. Household pest kedada? Cockroach, house flies, mosquitoes, right? These are all household pests. So this particularly there is a course, statutory course, So based on that, after undergoing that course, you can able to start the business. It's a commercial based control business. Not only for domestic, even for industries. So many food industries, food manufacturing industry, milk industry. Okay, so all you have scopes. Okay, it's a very good business. And if anybody if are not going for higher study, you can also go for that line also. So as a entrepreneurship, you can develop and you can have good business also in that aspect. So that is one thing. Then otherwise you can come for higher studies where you will have the PhD and other things, opportunities are there. And then any particular doubt in that question also. Opportunities. See, actually, we are working directly under the Minister of Agriculture. So we don't fund. So there is no project under. So just only teaching and training only. But some part of research also we are doing. But maybe you can try for some collaborative research work. So under that we can help with the students also. Thank you very much, and once again thank you all the staff members and all the students who are assembled here on this occasion. So thank you, sir, and special thanks for
before I do my duty, I wish to acknowledge and thank our today's resource persons from Deakin University, Professor Re and Dr. John White. About 6 months back, I think I do remember the date in which you wrote one email to me. March 28th of 2024, Dr. John White wrote an email to me which really surprised me, that one of the rodentologists in India, her name is Dr. Neena Singla, who is working as a principal zoologist in Punjab Agricultural University, Ludhiana, Punjab. Our team also, these two people have also visited that institution, and they visited her also. She only introduced my name to these two Australian scientists, Professor Re and Dr. John, and in turn, Dr. John contacted me through email, asking me about my consent, whether will you be interested to work with our team on this area of research. Then after getting consent from principal and management, I wrote to them, yes, we are ready to work with you on this aspect in Indian part of our country. They were looking for many collaborators, potential collaborators across India, and to southern part of India we represent, in our college represents, and most of the potential collaborators that the Australian scientists have identified are universities, non-governmental organizations like Bombay Natural History Society and some other institutions in Pune, Mumbai, but ours is the only college which Professor Re and Dr. John have identified. And for that, I thank on my own behalf and on behalf of our college management and principal for choosing myself as one of your collaborators. Thank you very much. And Professor Re and Dr. John also asked me whether anybody else is there to join our team. Then I suggested Dr. P. Saktivel, although not because he is my first PhD candidate, but he is the working place where he is working is most important. He is working in a national institute. It is a national level institute which is in Hyderabad, which caters to the needs of farmers and other stakeholders as far as health management is concerned or pest management is concerned. So I suggested him to the Professor Railini and Dr. John, and they accepted my suggestion, and they also included Dr. Saktivel's name in the potential collaborators. I thank for that also both of you, and they requested me to invite Dr. Saktivel to our college to meet them and to be with them to discuss about the future course of research work in our college on these aspects. Thank you once again on my own behalf and on behalf of our college administration and principal for having identified, given us this opportunity to work with you all. Thank you. Thank you very much. Now, a formal vote of thanks. Thank you is such a prayer that cannot be seen or touched. It must be felt by heart. Valued resource persons, Professor Railini and Dr. John, esteemed President of our college, Through Pon Balasubramanian sir, Secretary sir, though he is not physically here, he will join us shortly, Mr. Pon Ravichandran sir, Dr. A. Venkatesan, Principal of our college. It's a great honor for me to deliver this vote of thanks. I would like to express my sincere thanks to our college committee president, Engineer Pon Balasubramanian sir, for his invaluable presidential address, which highlighted the importance of research and international collaboration. Your continued support for academic events has been crucial to our success, and I am truly grateful for your kind words and encouragement. I am thankful to our secretary, Pon Ravichandran sir. I contacted him through phone, and he promised me that he will join us shortly. And I thank him profusely for his support in facilitating this event today. Though his presence is not here physically, he extended his all kind of support for the successful conduct of this program. I extend my deepest gratitude to our college principal, Dr. A. Venkatesan, for his unwavering support and guidance in organizing this seminar. Without his help and support, this would not have been possible. His dedication to fostering academic excellence and his inspiring welcome address have set the perfect tone for today's event. Thank you, sir, for being a constant source of encouragement and for always leading us with a clear vision. My special vote of thanks goes to our esteemed resource persons, Dr. John White, Dr. Railini from Deakin University, Australia. Dr. White's insights on research and teaching opportunities at Deakin University, Professor Railini's inputs about research in Deakin University have opened new avenues for our faculty and students. Dr. Cook's talk on this rodenticide use and their impact on native wildlife and human health brought a light, a pressing issue that resonates deeply with our work in eco-friendly technologies. Thank you very much. Thank you for both of you for your time expertise and for sharing your invaluable knowledge with us today. The entire faculty members of the Department of Zoology and the research scholars of our department, thank you very much for all your hard work and dedication. Your efforts behind the scenes have ensured the smooth execution of this seminar, and this event would not have been possible without your commitment. Thank you very much, my dear fellow teachers. Thank you very much. A special thanks to all participants, including students, research scholars, and guests who have taken time to join us today. Your active engagement and enthusiasm and value to our event, added value to our event, and we hope that you will leave this hall with new insights and inspirations. Next, I would like to thank Dr. J. Vichi, again my own research scholar who did her PhD with me and who did her BSc MSc with me in our college. Currently she is working as an assistant professor in Sita Lakshmi Ramasamy College for her support and help. I am thankful to her for all her support and help for organizing this event. Next, I would like to thank the Master of Ceremony, two first MSc Zoology students, Kavita and Nivedita, for their wonderful performance in their assigned job. Next, I would like to thank all other department students and staff members for your patient listening and your active participation in this event. I am very much owed to my Almighty, and I continuously pray to the omnipresent and the omniscient to provide us with such opportunities in plenty in the days to come. Thanks a lot to one and all directly or indirectly involved in this program. I thank you once again, all of you very much. Thank you all once again. I look forward to more such enriching sessions in future. Thank you very much.